Hello, it's time for the Stage Door. This is episode 6 in our 8-part series, and we're delighted you could join us for some conversation and laughs with Canadian artists and performing arts organizations from Canada and locally as well. My name is Tanya Mazza, and I'm the Arts and Culture Coordinator for the town of Collingwood. I'm coming to you from the Simcoe Street Theatre, and I'm here with my colleague and technical producer, Tyler Cleary. Hey, Tyler.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
Can everybody see you?
I think everyone can see me. I will give a little disclosure to folks. If you're watching and you think there's a delay with my audio and my mouth, no such thing. I'm actually a puppet. And just a terrible guy operating behind me. But no, there is a bit of a delay between how I'm putting my voice into the stream and my video, but I am here.
Oh, yay. Well, we couldn't do this without you. I'm so glad you're here. Do you have any Simcoe Street Theatre news for us? Is there anything happening here?
Yeah, it's definitely worth sharing that we are open. I'm using air quotes. Tanya can't see me for everybody else. So we're open, and I use the air quotes because we're actually open for what we've called closed productions. And with that, shows like Tom Thompson's Wake that was put on by Shipyard Kitchen Party, shows like that where you're redefining that audience experience. It's not streaming, it's still live theater. It's happening on a stage, but we're still asking folks to stay at home and stay safe, but still enjoy theater.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So we have a really fun show tonight, Tyler. I want to get started, but I need to bring in someone who's vital to this show, Eric Angus, who is the Executive Director for Theatre Collingwood. She's going to take us through the stage door and behind the scenes. Hey, Erica.
Hey, Tanya, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm just sitting here having so much fun in my little home office with my little friend, Chris Tsujiuchi, on my wall.
I'm jealous of that poster.
I know. And in my house, it's Christmas all the time. It's a hysterical Christmas.
Does it light up? It looks like the poster lights up.
I have to make it light up. I should have done that tonight. I could have done that. I could have done that.
Oh, awesome.
Well, we have 2 amazing guests tonight. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to both of these gentlemen. It's going to be terrific. And I have some Theatre Collingwood news for you. Should we do that now?
I would love it.
All right. Well, first of all, the first bit of news, sorry, but it calls for the sad mask. Sad mask. And that was that we had a wonderful idea about starting a Porchside series. And actually, my dear friend, Chris Tsujiuchi, was going to be the first performer on the Porchside series. And then we had limitations put on us by the government. Of course, we want everyone to be safe. We kind of fell into a gray area because our concert was being done on a porch and everybody was going to be well looked after, socially distanced. We had staffing, it was all very professional. The problem was it was in a backyard, and that threw us into the backyard category. So unfortunately, the 50 tickets we sold couldn't be done. So we had to cancel them. I'm so sad about that. But for anyone who purchased tickets to the Porchside series, we're going to do it in the spring. We'll do it in the spring when things settle down. So that's a sad one, but I can tell you a happy one too. And is that, but I don't have my happy mask. Wait a minute. I'll do this. That will be the happy mask.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So we were lucky enough to get a grant from the Ontario government for the Student Summer Employment Program. Which was,
congratulations.
Thank you, which was actually delayed because they had other things to think about, obviously. So the program was changed so that we could hire a student to work virtually from their home or university or wherever they are until the end of December, which is terrific. So we have hired a young woman by the name of Aislinn Fryer. We welcome her to our group, and she is going to be working on our social media. So we're very excited about that opportunity for us and the opportunity for Aislinn as well, which is fantastic. So that's good news. And we're going to be doing hopefully some work with Tyler at the Simcoe Street Theater so that we can stream 4 different events before March. So we're very excited about that too. So that's all good.
That's great
Collingwood news.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm
going on.
very, very excited about all of that. It's great. And I don't know, did you think of a question tonight? Because I have a question for you.
I didn't think of a question, so ask away.
Okay, so my question for you is, what Netflix show should I watch next? Because I'm running out.
Oh boy.
I've been streaming a lot.
Well, I have to say I'm into the British mysteries. So anything you can get there. I don't know if I've watched Broadchurch. I've watched.
Let me write these down.
I like the mysteries. Yes.
Okay.
I like the ones that they wrap it up in that show, like that it doesn't continue on and on and on. So there's a start and an ending in that show. So
you know, I watched something the other night, and I was laughing so hard that my husband, he was in bed and he was like kind of yelling out like, what's going on out there? And unfortunately, I can't remember the name of the comedian. He's a British comedian, and the show is called Travels with My Father or something like that. It's a 4-part series, mini-series.
Jack Whitehall.
Thank you. Have you seen it, Tyler? Oh my gosh, it is so funny. So the first part, he's taking his father to Australia with him. Of course, his father is he's a complex individual and very stuffy in many ways, and doesn't quite approve the Australian accent compared to the British accent. Anyways, they are so funny together. What he puts his father through, it is incredible. And I killed myself laughing on that one. I had to go through all 4 episodes at once. Loved it.
that's the problem with Netflix. It's that temptation to just let the next one start up and keep going, right?
Yeah, not getting them. So, and I also want to thank, we do have another sponsor that we'd like to thank this evening. You know, the arts just cannot survive without our incredible sponsors, our corporate partnerships. And so one wonderful business in Collingwood is Royal LePage Locations North. They support many, many things, and especially the arts. So we thank them tonight for their contribution and for me, their support of Theatre Collingwood. Great. That's my news. That's my news.
Super.
So now do I get to bring our first guest
I think
in?
we should do it. Then we've got more time.
Yay,
Yeah.
let's do it. Let's do it. Okay, well, I would like to welcome Peter Madore to the stage door. Hi, Peter.
Hi,
Hey,
Erica.
Peter.
How are you? It's great to be here. Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
Good. We're so excited to have you here. And, you know, I felt like I knew so much about you, but I feel like I know a lot more about you now.
You went down the wormhole and you discovered the deep, dark secrets of
Did.
Peter.
Totally. That's the fun of
did.
this.
Yeah.
But Peter,
What did you find out about me? I'm dying to know. I'd love to know more about myself.
Well, what I really love is that, you know, I knew there were these 2 sides of you. There's Peter Madore, the improv artist, and then there's Peter, the psychotherapist.
Yeah.
But what I didn't realize was how beautifully the 2 work together. And that was probably the most exciting thing that I think I've learned about you. And I love it because I personally feel that the arts has such an effect on all the
Health and
parts of
well-being.
our lives.
Oh my God. Yeah, tell me about it. By the way, before I dig into that bit, I'm going to give you a Netflix suggestion. I think you're going to love it. It's right up your alley. You may have already heard of it. It's called Toast of London.
No,
Good luck.
no.
I'm not going to tell you any more about it. Dig in. Down the wormhole she goes.
But first of all, how many seasons are there?
3 seasons. It's a British television show.
Okay.
It's like 6 episodes a season. It's the
Perfect.
most ridiculous, stupid thing. You'll laugh your butt off.
I will love this.
You're
And, you know,
welcome.
thank you. And you
Yeah.
have to know something. I'm going to tell you something about me.
What's
And
that?
it's that I have been watching Coronation Street for almost my entire life.
Yeah.
Not quite. It's not that old, but almost. I am such a British fanatic. So
To this one will, I think it'll make you spit milk out your nose. Fun and stupid.
I can't wait.
If you're like me and you've had, a day and you're just like, it's unwind time, this is the show I put on. It is like melt your brain stupid.
I love that. I have a lot of days where I feel like I need something like that. So that's
well, there's only 3 seasons, so
I love it. I love that.
yeah, stretch it out.
So Peter, I want to sort of go back to, okay, here's Peter in his early 20s, traveling around Europe and Canada, trying to find himself.
Yeah, for sure. What?
Trying to figure it out.
I can't see these pictures, but I'm going to take your word for it. I've got this. I see in my head. Oh, God.
And then what happens is you go to film school.
Yeah. Oh my God, is that on there?
No, it's just in my mind. It's not necessarily on there. I can't tell you what's on there. I can't see what's on there. So, and then you become a grip in the film industry.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, see, I know these things.
Oh my God, how do you know this stuff?
So, then you decide to study improv at Second City in Toronto. So tell us all about that.
Oh boy. I mean, wow, I'm so.
And we'd like dirt. Like, have you got any good stories?
Well, the real dirt about it is, and there's not much dirt, but there's a search, right? And I think everyone goes through that bit in their life. And for me, it was jumping out of school, not knowing what the heck I was supposed to do with my life. The real big questions that all 18, 19-year-olds ask themselves, what is this thing all about? So what it was all about was going to Europe and finding it on the darn tough streets of Europe, right?
That's as good as any. That's as good as any.
So yeah, I did that little journey and came back to the this thing that always prompted me to dig into who I was and part of something that I loved, which was theater, entertainment, and all of that stuff. And so probably for me, the journey begins in like grade 8 in a production of Anne of Green Gables, and I'm playing Matthew Cuthbert. Okay, I'm the old man, right? And for me, it was that first experience of I love this, and then going through high school, no program that supported it, and I'm growing up in Etobicoke, which is a burb outside of Toronto. What part of Toronto?
Right.
And no real opportunities for me to do that. And so kind of got lost in all of that. It was like this world I was in, and then it was gone. And I come back from the Europe trip thinking, what am I going to do? And I said, I want to be an actor. So I auditioned for the Humber Theater program, and I walk in, I can't remember the director's name at the time. And he said, listen, man, I just filled the last spot.
Oh, no.
But one will open up, and when it does, I'm going to give you a call. So he kind of like, it was there in the back of my mind. At the exact same time, I had applied to the film program. Film program accepted me immediately, and within a couple of days, I got the call like, "Hey, a spot in the theater program's open." And my mother, God love her, she says, "Listen, you want a job? you get a job. If you want to be unemployed, yeah, be an actor. So I went for the job route, got a job as a grip, worked on a lot of films in Toronto. And again, industry sort of up and down, not unlike what was going on now. SARS hit. So I just sort of bounced around, for a really long time, especially in my 20s, and worked in construction trades. And I guess, the journey is there. And improv, Second City, taking a class at a place called Sears and Switzer, and someone tells me about the Second City. And that was it. I got in. And the beautiful thing about improv was there were all these people who were really nerding out about it. And we didn't look for places like a professional theater to play. We looked for the back room of some dive somewhere. And that was it. And that was how we built our community and how we discovered our voice. And it was really like punk rock in that way, in that the rules were all tossed out and we were just up there playing. And what a great experience that was. And through my life, looking for a career and then finding one that I really loved, improv was always there. It's always been that thing that's underpinned part of who I am, my identity, and who my friends are. And so that was my Toronto experience. And when my wife and I moved up here with our kids about 7 years ago now, that was the heartbreak for me, was leaving all my pals and my community.
Yeah.
And I said to myself, like, I gotta have this. I don't know how I get to have it, but I've gotta have it. And so I just started offering little classes. I wasn't really charging money. I just said, come out, let's play and become friends. And, maybe hopefully we start this gang together.
Because you moved to Creemore, right?
That's right, yeah.
Creemore. So small little town.
Oh,
For people from Toronto, they would feel you really moved to the end of the world.
Yeah.
Although they just don't know that it's a very beautiful end of the world.
Yeah, and it's really not all that big a deal. So if I was working in Scarborough one day and had to go across Toronto, it's the exact same amount of time in my car.
Right.
What a bonus to be able to live up here. And of course, like there is a culture shock. My wife and I both born and raised in the city. And so to come up here was a much slower pace. And who could have imagined, right, how lovely it would have been to be here. And that sense of community, it was there immediately. There was no searching for friends. It was like, hey, come on out and play, neighbor. It was right there. And Toronto, in some respects, didn't always provide that, right? It seemed distant. And when we got here, it was like there was this real lovely embrace. So we love it. We love it up here.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because there's so many people coming from out of town. And so they need community, but it's very true. It's a special area where people really do show their friendship quickly.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
But you came here to continue with psychotherapy, right?
Yeah, it was a work move. And my wife and I, she introduced me to camping. It was like, this is her passion, and it was the outdoors. It was that connection to nature. And we both really fell in love with the idea of getting out of the city. And this really amazing opportunity came up for her. So she's a therapist, and she was offered a position with an organization up here. And, literally it was like 3 weeks from the day she finds the the position to us going, we're moving. And we just went for it. And I mean, credit to her and to us. It was like, it's just been really fun to be married to my wife, because we're just, let's do stuff, let's.
But I have a serious question for you.
Sure.
You have 2 children, right?
Yeah, we got 2 kids.
And they have 2 parents who are both therapists.
What do you know? They're very well.
What is that like?
They know what it is to be attuned to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's great.
It's great. I think it's great for them. Wish
Yeah.
my parents were therapists. God, golly, that would have been a bonus.
I actually grew up, one of my very best friends, his parents were both therapists when we were growing up. And actually, they were terrific. They were terrific.
How's he doing now?
He's great. He's great. Yeah,
Well adjusted.
very well adjusted.
Okay.
Okay, he might have married a woman first and then came out of the closet later, but that's all. That's all.
fine.
That was a little weird.
He got to himself.
He got to himself.
Good
Yeah. So, anyways, that's terrific. So you moved up.
Yeah.
You were doing the your profession of therapy, psychotherapy, but I feel like from what I read about you that improv was always a way for you to express yourself and come in touch with who you were, and I think then you began to use it a bit with your therapy as well, right?
Yeah, that's right. Again, it's like I found my tribe. I found a place for me to connect to the world. It was improv. It's where I found home within home. And as you were mentioning earlier, just in your creepy research about me, you discovered, all of those things that draw those two things together, therapy and improv, and boy, oh boy, now that was my discovery too. Entering into a therapy training program,
right,
and seeing all of these ways in which connection was so vitally important to establishing safety, establishing that secure base for people. And that's where improv is so powerful. A lot of people, every single one of my students says to me, oh man, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not funny. And I'm like, you don't have to be. Please don't try to be. Just come in here and, if someone says something to you, just have an honest response. And I guarantee you it will be funny, sad, but it will be compelling. And I think that's what people can really dig about doing improv. And, when you're sitting in your office with a client, the transaction really is about, let's just have this honest back and forth. There's no judgment. There's none of that. And improv fosters that experience as well. Like stepping up onto the stage, you get to say something to someone and they go, yeah, I accept that. I completely accept that. And not only that, here's my offer back to you. And it could be helpful or whatever it is, but it is two people working together to create something.
Amazing. So now, because what's going to happen is we're going to run out of time because I could talk to you for hours.
Yeah, for sure.
But I want to get on to Mad and Noisy Improv Company. So, or what I was trying to figure out Mad and Noisy, MANIC. They must be two different companies. Then I finally figured out, no, that's the acronym.
Me too. My buddy Tom Vest, who I improvised with in the city, I was like, Tom, I live up by this place. Everything is called Mad and Noisy this, Mad and Noisy that. There are these two rivers up here. So I want to have like the Mad and Noisy Improv Company. He's like, okay, MANIC Improv. Blah, blah. I'm like, no, Mad and Noisy. Yeah, MANIC. And I got it like you got it. So it was like, oh, well, that's perfect. Yeah, that's perfect. But let's get to Mad and Noisy really quick. I know we got to wrap up and you got to get on to much more interesting guests.
No pressure for Chris. So Mad and Noisy, yes. So Mad and Noisy. Now, so this is your improv company, and there's a variety of things you do for this, involving classes, performances, guest performers. Like, it's amazing what you've done. And actually, maybe before we talk about it, why don't we show that little 22-second clip that we have?
Oh, sure. Okay. I think I know what you're showing too.
Yeah, let's get Tyler to show that. I don't even know if that's happening. Is that happening?
Harry, you're doing it! I'm the Nimbus 3000, Harry! I'm your broom, you see!
I'm sure that was hilarious.
You had
So,
to be there.
I don't know if we made that disclaimer at the beginning. We often do, where we do let the audience know that we can't see these videos. So, but anyways, so that was dinner theater, actually.
That's right.
Dinner improv.
Part of what I aspired to do when I got up here is I wanted to get everybody involved in it. It wasn't just me putting up a show for my sake, but developing relationships with restaurants or whomever. And so one of the restaurants in town here, Quinn's Bistro, we got together and we're like, hey, let's put a show on and put these guys up. So Ken and Isaac, the guys that you saw there in the clip, they're Canadian Comedy Award winning artists, brought them up, did a show, and you can just see, and it was all completely improvised. So everything that you saw there in that clip came from something that was improvised, but just full energy, a joy to bring those guys up and support them and bring something to my community, this thing that I love to do. And yeah.
I think also, Peter, I love the idea of being able to have something like that in town, north of the city, for people who may not have that opportunity to go down to the city and see something like that. So it's different from what's necessarily seen day to day here. I think it's an awesome thing. And actually, before I forget this, we totally need to talk because I have an idea for next year. Can't talk about it right now, but I think we should work together. Anyways, that's a whole other thing. Now, the other, okay, so I want everyone to know that you do offer classes, and I think you have actually, what have you got coming up? Like, are you still going to do your workshops in October and November, or was that from a year ago or 5 years ago?
No. So, given this situation with COVID, we looked at things right away and experienced the break that everybody broke with, and there's still opportunity in this as well.
Yeah.
Opportunities, and so people can still learn online. That's available. So. Again, part of the big vision for me was I can take people so far. I can bring you to yellow belt, but after that, we got to get someone to train you up to the black belt. We hired Michael Gallman as our first director.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, I mean, to imagine that 7 years ago, it was me running them out of my garage, to now we've got, a guy like Michael Gallman who's credited with creating long form improv. 25 years directing Second City shows, awards at the wazoo, working with everybody and his mother. It's amazing. I'm pinching myself just because. And I wanted MANIC to be a center of excellence. So training with the best, however you quantify that. So a workshop with Rich Tallarico. He's a 4-time Emmy nominated writer, worked on Saturday Night Live, Key and Peele, Mad Television. He's writing a lot of movie scripts right now. So he's going to be offering a workshop through us, and this is our opportunity now. This is to go, well, let's start offering our classes. We can do that. And
so how do people find out about these classes?
Oh, yeah. Sure. So a couple of ways. One, go right onto our website, www.manicimprov.com. And also, we'd appreciate if you check us out on Facebook. It's MANIC Improv or Mad and Noisy Improv Company. That's our Facebook page. You'll see stuff that we're getting up to, other little things. We're working on some things with Michael right now.
Exciting.
Yeah,
it's wonderful.
So yeah, thanks.
And we didn't get to chat about Gaslight, but I just want to let everyone know that if you're watching from Collingwood and you think, did I see Peter in a Gaslight show? Yes, you did. And that was super fun to have you get involved with the Gaslight program. Unfortunately, Gaslight had to be postponed this year, but hopefully we'll see Peter back at Gaslight next year.
Oh, for sure. I'd love to. I love it.
It's so fun.
Best time.
Yeah, so thank you so much. And thank you for
you made
everything
the
that you
best
brought to
today.
community.
You're the best.
Uh, well, thank you. And it really was a joy chatting again.
Toast of London. Toast of London.
Toast
Toast of London.
Yeah.
I shall toast the toast of London.
Thanks, Erica. Cheers.
Thank you. All right, that was so much fun.
Yeah.
Peter is amazing. And now we get to speak to another amazing gentleman, someone who I've had the pleasure to work with several times, but I also fell in love with him, basically. I think that's the whole thing.
I think that's understandable.
I think I have a bit of a crush. Actually, I thought about this today. I should have actually brought our box office manager, Anne Rachunas, on this show tonight, because we could have watched Anne not be able to like even talk because she loves Chris so much. So anyways, let's bring on Chris Tsujiuchi. Hello.
Hello!
Hi.
My ears were burning backstage.
Chris, I just love you so much that I have you wallpapered on my walls at home.
I love you too, and I love your wallpaper, and I love that both of your special guests on the Stage Door series today hail from Etobicoke.
I know. And you know what I was thinking? Chris, did you go to the Etobicoke School of the Arts?
I went to ESA.
Yes, you did. So, Peter may not have known about ESA, but we know, you and I know, it is a superstar school.
Yeah. Peter and I have so much in common.
And me too.
We both love being actors. We both love acronyms. We're both from Etobicoke. And now he's got a wig on. I don't know if you can see it, but he's got a wig on. And we both have long, luscious locks of wonderful flowing
You are
hair.
so alike. You are so alike. And, you know, my sister lives very, very close to that school in Etobicoke. So I feel like I'm part of that whole thing too, as well. Chris.
Yes.
Actually, before we say any other words, I'm going to get Tyler to show the video of the Beautiful Porch series in Toronto.
Okay.
Let's watch.
I got myself a notion, one I know that you'll understand, to set this world in motion by reaching out for each other's hands. Maybe we'll discover what we should have known all along. Ooh, one way or another, together's where we both belong. If we listen to each other's hearts, we'll find we're never too far apart. And maybe love is the reason why, for the first time ever, we're seeing it eye to eye. If a wall should come between us, too high to climb, too hard to break through, I know that love will lead us and find a way to bring me to you. So don't be in a hurry, think before you count us out. Oh, you don't have to worry, I won't ever let you down. Nothing's gonna stop us now if we listen to each other's hearts. We'll find we're never too far apart, and maybe love is the reason why, for the first time ever, we're seeing it eye to eye. Eye to eye. First time ever seeing it. Oh, now. First time ever seeing it eye to eye. First time ever seeing it. Oh, yeah. First time ever seeing it eye to eye. First time ever seeing it. Oh, now. First time ever seeing it eye to eye. First time ever seeing it. eye to eye. First time ever seeing it, eye to eye. First time ever seeing it, eye to eye. First time ever seeing it, eye to eye. Eye to eye.
Chris, I loved that whole concept of the porch series that the musical stage company got you to do, and other artists. Actually, can you tell us about how it worked in Toronto? And then we're going to go on to my sad story.
Sure. So originally, Musical Stage Company canceled all of their programming inside of theaters because of COVID, and started to try and figure out, okay, so what programming can we put out there that is in keeping with our mandate? It's better with music, because Musical Stage Company, and that we can get artists paid and still have audiences get a theatrical experience within the confines of all of these COVID rules. So we came up with Porchside Songs, and then originally programmed Porchside for 6 weeks. 2 weeks of Haley Gillis and Andrew Penner, 2 weeks of Bo Dixon and Vanessa Sears, and 2 weeks of Asian Riffing Trio. And within about a week of the tickets going on sale for those Porchside concerts, they all sold out. And so the need was there. The need for live music and the need for those experiences, which people had been missing, was there. So they extended into September, and we got another week and a half each of kind of performances out of the deal.
That's amazing. And so I was watching this on Facebook or whatever, and I thought, oh my gosh, we have to do something like this. We have to. And I guess for those, I can't imagine that anyone doesn't know Chris Tsujiuchi, but for those who don't know you, you are a singer, a musician, an actor, and more than not a musical director in the most incredible way. But you also have this boy band, and it's the Asian Riffing Trio, or ART.
You have a boy band.
I am a huge fan, and so then we decided, I called you and said, we have to do this in Collingwood, and I want you to come up, and we're going to do this on a porch, and I found the porch, and then I'm going to find other particular shows, and we're going to do it. So we set it all up, all great, and then we got canceled because of the restrictions increasing, and I am so sad about that, but we're going to do other fun stuff together.
Me too. I was sad about it too. Not only because I miss seeing you and seeing Collingwood, but also I miss eating best taco.
Oh my gosh. I was saving that for like my very last thing. Our discussion was, and what's your favorite place in Collingwood?
Oh, that reminds me. I have a Netflix suggestion for you too.
Oh, good.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay.
Did Ben Taco do a Netflix show?
No. My straight boyfriend Matt, he came over because we are bubbled together.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, my parents have been recommending the show to me. It's called Animal Kingdom. Do you want to watch the first episode together?" And I said, "Sure," thinking it was some sort of like Nat Geo, National Geographic, like David Attenborough show.
Yes.
No, it's not. It's like this guy, and his name is Jay, and his mom dies, and then his grandmother, who he hasn't spoken to in a really long time, is all like weirdly sexual. It's Ellen Barkin. Do you know Ellen Barkin?
Yeah.
So Ellen Barkin plays like this like weird like crime boss grandmother in this family of like, what exactly crimes do they do? We're not sure. and all this. It's the kind of show that burns through plot, and you have like 50 questions answered and 100 more questions unanswered at the end of each episode.
Oh my gosh, I love that idea. Don't you love it that even though you think you've watched everything on Netflix, other people are going down other avenues with Netflix? Like, there's so much. I just love the whole thing.
And that kind of show is not generally the kind of show that I would watch. But
No.
because I watched the pilot episode with Matt, then I was like, well, now I need to know what happens in the next episode.
Oh, yeah, that's bad news.
And
That's
so
bad
I watched the
news.
next episode, and I got to the end of it, and I was like, I guess I'll watch another.
Oh,
Then I'll
yeah.
watch another. Then I'll watch another. Now I'm in the 5th season of Animal Kingdom, and I'm just like, I still don't know what's going to happen.
Happening.
What's going to happen?
I love that it has so many seasons, because I hate when I get into something and then, I felt that way about Unorthodox. Did you watch Unorthodox?
I did, yes.
It was
Yes,
so
very
good.
good.
And I
Mhm.
just wanted it to continue, and I wanted them
Yes.
to come back. And I also feel that way about Queer Eye, which I've now gone on to the Queer Eye in Japan and finished that one as well. And
You could do a whole show just about Netflix.
we could. Okay, so back to Ben Taco.
Back to the taco.
What's your favorite thing at Ben Taco?
Okay, so it used to be the provoletta, the deep fried provolone cheese taco. I don't know if they still have it on the menu because it changes a lot. The last time I went, my favorite thing was the meat and potatoes taco with the beet crema.
I think I had to get that for you the last time you were in town.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh my gosh.
But
Okay,
also
so
the last time I came, I discovered Tesoro's.
Yes.
don't say it. Don't
No.
say it. No, because Tesoro was still around, right? Tesoro was still around. It's Azura that's closed.
The
so.
Italian
But
place behind the
Tesoro.
CIBC.
Oh my gosh, it's fantastic.
Yeah, I went there for the first time when I came to do the Christmas show, and that was also wonderful.
It's fantastic. Collingwood has amazing restaurants. They really do. It's amazing. It's totally amazing. Anyways, off topic, but that is another art form, the culinary arts. That'll be our next series. But anyways, okay, so unfortunately we couldn't do our Porchside series, but we're going to do something about that in the spring. I love the idea, and it's super fun. And actually tonight, Talk is Free Theatre is actually doing a show in my backyard in Barrie, Ontario.
In the rain.
In the rain. And I don't even know what's going on down there. I just said you can use my backyard. But this is the third performance they've done here. They had another artist here last week, and it got rave reviews. So I've come to the conclusion that people love this idea, and it's very doable. And I don't have a big backyard. So this show, the sellout was 14 seats. Not amazing. But anyways, it's very exciting, and it's exciting to get artists out working and doing all of that. So, Chris.
Erica.
One of my favorite things in the world to do is to go to the very Christerical Christmas Cabaret.
Yes.
And I even brought it into Collingwood.
You
and
did.
I even went to it in Toronto once, right after I had surgery.
Are you going to say the joke? I'll just let you sit. I'll just sit here.
What was it that I laughed what was the joke?
It had to do with you getting stitches? Was
I
that
think it
it?
had to do with me hemorrhaging because I'd gone out too early after my surgery to see the Hysterical Christmas Cabaret, but that's too much information. But anyways, tell us the history of the Hysterical Christmas Cabaret.
The history?
Yes.
The genesis story of the Christmas Cabaret. Okay, so
Because you've been doing it for how many years?
this would be the 12th annual Christmas Cabaret. So when I was getting into my final years of theater school, I didn't go to Humber like Peter did. I went to Sheridan in Oakville, and I was getting to the end, and after doing 2.5 years of theater school and studying musical theater history and all this stuff, I started to realize that the parts just weren't out there for someone who looks like this.
No.
And things are starting to change now. We're having a lot of different conversations about race and systemic racism and institutional racism and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But like and intersectionality as well. So I'm a really good example of intersectionality.
Yeah.
Like I'm big the way that all of the other character actors are big, but they're all white.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then I'm Asian, but like all of the other Asian actors are not necessarily big character-y actors, and they're not necessarily gay or like queer identified or whatever. And then in the gay, like it's just like a lot of intersectionality.
Yeah.
And
that's amazing that you came to terms with that. And sad, it's so sad, but because a lot of times I think when students are in school, they think they're invincible, you know, that, oh, I'll just go out and I'll be, so you had a harsh reality that.
Yeah, I sort of went, I know that I will perform in musicals. I don't know that I'll be able to make it a full-time job the way things are now. And while I think it's very good to, you know, work towards changing the industry so that someone who looks and is like me could make performing a full-time job, that was not the reality a decade ago.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? It just makes me so crazy because you are such a gift on the stage. And that gift could have been completely lost. So anyways, I'm glad that, okay, so you got through school and you decided I'm going to do my own thing and show them.
Yeah, I realized that I had all of these skills as a piano player and a musician that I could use to music direct shows and stay well within the industry that I've chosen without undergoing all of the scrutiny of being a performer and all of the like casting director bullshit. Oh, can we swear on this show?
It's quite all right. You just did.
All of the casting director bullshit. You know. Yeah. I don't have to tell you.
You don't have
understand.
to tell me.
So, in my final year at Sheridan, I co-music directed a show as part of the Sheridan season with Michael Mulrooney. The heads of the departments were like, "You're right. This is something that you should go into. Let's help you out." And so that's sort of the direction I went in, and I said, I still want to perform. How can I do that? And then I went, I'll go into cabaret the same way that Sean Hitchens and Sharon Matthews and all of these other wonderful, funny, hilariously, musically gifted people have done in the Toronto scene. Yeah. And shortly after I graduated from Sheridan, I also ended up accompanying Sharon Matthews in her cabarets, just
all over the place.
All over the place. We toured around for 3 years. We went to Edinburgh, Scotland, Cape Town, South Africa, all over Canada. We played in New York. It was amazing. It was amazing, and definitely informed the way that I do my own cabarets and do my own musical storytelling and this and that. Our styles, Sharon and I, are different but the same.
So in some ways, you're kind of the Asian gay male Sharon Matthews. Is that what you're telling me? No.
In some ways, yes.
I know you're not. I know you're not. But what an amazing experience. I mean, I love Sharon. She's so good at what she does. And then to have you there as her musical accompaniment and then to go on to do your own cabarets. Yeah. Which are, you know what, the thing about your Christmas cabaret, and I mean this honestly, and I highly recommend that everyone, like I have seen many of them, and I still keep going back because it doesn't matter how happy or actually how sad you may be at the holidays. You go to this cabaret and you're going to feel so deeply touched and see amazing talent, but you have such a sincerity at that cabaret. It's so beautiful, and to me it has become, I hope you never stop doing it, because to me it feels like a part of my Christmas tradition now.
Me too, which is why I've decided this year to do it online.
Yeah.
Which is a new and interesting and overwhelming challenge. Yeah. It's just it's a whole new territory for me, not being you know, as tech savvy as some of the other people in the theater community. But the musical stage company is also moving their Uncovered concert online and has been lovely enough to share a lot of like the information and research that they've done with me, so that I don't have to do it.
And you know what, Chris? I hope that we never get that good at it. I hope we never get that good at it. Because although it's wonderful to have this alternative that, well, we can't do live productions, we can do things online, we can reach out to our community, and that's fantastic. There is nothing like a live performance. And there's nothing that will touch you like a live performance. So we need to find a way to get back to that. And we will get back to that. But you know, you're going to make it. I'm so glad that you're going to be able to offer this. Can I tell you, one of my most favorite Chris Tsujiuchi cabaret moments was when Chris Tsujiuchi, imagine him in his red outfit, standing, singing his version of Beyonce's Halo. And your wings go up, your angel wings.
Oh, yes.
Now, the reason you had those angel wings is because not only are you an amazing musical director, but you were Frankenfurter in Rocky Horror for Hard House.
I was, and they gave me wings. They gave me wings that actually like expanded and went down. There was like a switch on the belt of my corset thing. It was wild. And oh yeah, you can see a picture on there's a picture of me in like a green corset with my wings. And yeah, they were black wings, but I covered them in white fabric for the purposes of the Christmas cabaret.
They became white for the Christmas cabaret. But you know what I love about Rocky Horror was that, again, you know, first of all, you got fantastic reviews. And if you think of the traditional Frankenfurter, it's not necessarily a person who looks like you.
No, most of the Frankenfurters I know are, I mean, almost exclusively cisgendered straight white men.
Yeah.
Who are thin. Yeah.
So you brought a whole new dimension to it, and you did it so well. And of course, you also have a fantastic voice. So.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So what was that experience like for you?
I mean, Jennifer Walls was our fearless leader. She was directing it, and, you know, had a huge hand in why it was cast the way it was cast. And I think that in some ways it was cast a little bit against type. But if you can't do that with a show like Rocky Horror, when, you know, they're aliens.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it just made sense. So.
Can I tell you my Rocky Horror experience? Like, I actually am of the age where we used to go, like, on Friday nights to see Rocky Horror, all dressed up, all with our, like, but it was when it first came out.
That's amazing.
And we would we'd have our bag of loot and everything, and yeah, it was pretty amazing, a pretty amazing time. Chris.
Yes.
Do you think, because I'm worried we're going to run out of time. Oh, before we go any further, I also have to comment on your hair.
Oh.
You have the most fantastic hair of anyone I know. I was so worried you were going to tie it back tonight, but I'm so glad it's out looking like the beautiful lion that you are.
It's definitely
I wore my cat ring.
It's definitely a bit frizzy. I just watched it last night and let it air dry, so it's a little bit more frizzy and kind of out of control than usual, but it's very soft to the touch. Right
Do you
now,
think that when this whole COVID thing's over, that because I don't have much hair, as you can tell, and I never get this experience. Do you think I could come over and like brush your hair or something? It would be good for me.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
It would save me from doing it.
We could have bent taco and all like brush.
If you bring bent taco, you can yeah.
Okay, I'm excited. Now I can make it through the pandemic. All right, so Chris,
Yes.
could you sing us a little song with your beautiful voice?
Sure, I'll sing you a little song.
Thank you. Go for it.
Well, I was thinking, I know we spoke on the phone earlier, and I said, what do you want me to sing? Do you have any specific requests? And you were just sort of like, sing whatever you feel, and all this stuff. And I wanted to do something that was in keeping with the tone of Stage Door, but I also, you know, have a bit of a thing that I feel like I need to get off my chest, especially after having watched the debate last night.
I can't imagine how you're going to express feelings after that.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna sing this as my own catharsis, and hopefully you're feeling the same way that I'm feeling. And rather than this being a dark performance, we're all just like getting this out there
Okay, perfect.
into the world. Okay, this is a mashup. This is a mashup of "Close Enough" by Tony Lucca and "Dear Mr. President."
Perfect.
There's a war going on the other side of the world, a fire in the hills of Malibu. There's a hurricane pounding on the Gulf Coast again. There's a virus on its way to you. Yeah. We got politicians pushing their promises. We got puppets in positions of power. There's a soldier on his way off to Baghdad yet again, where the bombs are going off by the hour. Tell me, is it hitting? Tell me, is it hitting close enough to home for you? Yeah. Close enough to home. Oh, dear Mr. President, come take a walk with me. Let's pretend we're just two people and you're not better than me. I'd like to ask you some questions if we can speak honestly. Dear Mr. President, were you a lonely boy? Were you a lonely boy? How can you say no child is left behind? We're not dumb and we're not blind. We're all sitting in your cell while you pave the road to hell. Tell me, is it hitting? Tell me, is it hitting close enough to home for you? Spilling blood for oil, they keep mistaking greed for gain. They keep playing politics with fear like it's some stupid game. Don't they know that life is precious? Can't they see how hate is strong? Don't they know that love is all you need? Only love will carry on now. Tell me, is it hitting? Tell me, is it hitting? Yeah. Tell me, is it hitting? Close enough to home?
Chris Tsujiuchi. You are unbelievable. You are unbelievable. Thank you so much for that. I don't even know what to say. Don't even know what to say.
I was like, this is how I'm feeling, so I'm just gonna do it. I hope it's not too dark for people, but
I think it needs. I think we need. We need to put this out in the interweb. That was amazing. Thank you so much.
Erica, thank you for having me, and
Oh,
Tanya, and Tyler.
And there's so much I wanted to talk to you about. Just very quickly, let me get in a couple more things. One is that the Asian Riffing Trio is also Colin Asuncion, who was
on season 3 of the Great Canadian Baking Show.
How fun was that? And we love him. He's so talented. And also we have
Kevin Wong,
who is such a talented musician, composer, and writer, incredible guy.
Yeah.
So that makes up the Asian Riffing Trio. And I also want to quickly mention Glad Day. Can you
of course
just quickly talk about your show there?
Yeah, so since the pandemic started, the LGBTQ2S+ community has been hit particularly hard by COVID and the pandemic, and there are a lot of people within the community who are artists, and like myself, and also tip-based workers who have not been able to go back to work even now. There are also people in the community who have lost their jobs, and therefore, by extension, they've lost their benefits and are having a hard time affording medications and things like that. So Michael Erickson, the head owner of Glad Day Bookshop on Church Street, started two initiatives, one called the Glad Day Lit Fund and one called Glad Day TV. So on Glad Day TV, you can tune in on Glad Day Bookshop's Facebook page to all sorts of like crafting corner shows. There's baking along with Colin shows, and every Tuesday from 7 to 8 p.m. most weeks is a very Christerical musical hour where I and another special guest of mine play a little song association game. I interview them, ask them how they're handling the pandemic, and I sing a few requests. And the whole thing on Glad Day TV is designed to raise money for the Glad Day Lit Fund, which goes toward keeping Glad Day Bookshop open and helping LGBTQ2S+ artists and tip-based workers who've been hit particularly hard by the coronavirus and by the pandemic. So I've been doing that since the beginning of April, a weekly show.
Well, you do a terrific job, and thank you so much for doing that. It's a great show, and thank you also for a shout out last night on that show. That was fun.
Yes, thank you for tuning in.
It was super fun. Chris, I love you. Thank you. We could have talked for 2 hours, but we've come to the end.
Love you too.
I will call you and we'll talk about our next show that we're going to do together.
Sounds good.
And Tanya, I can't believe how fast that went by.
Yeah, every time it goes by fast.
So much talent. I just want to make a really exciting announcement about our next show. Gosh, where did I write that down? October 14th. So first of all, you won't be with me.
I won't be with you.
I will be so sad that you're not here.
But good news, yes, you will be.
Tyler is going to be my co-host, which I'm so excited. Yay, Tyler. And I'm excited to announce that our local artist is going to be represented by, is going to be Anne Rachunas, who has her finger in so many different pots when it comes to theater and the arts, and we're thrilled about that. And also, we have, as our national artist, we have Craig Luzon, and I'm so excited to have Craig here. Craig is an amazing comedian from Canadian Air Farce, but also I'm so excited about his new show on CBC that's got a ton of airtime on commercials called Trickster. Craig has performed for Theatre Collingwood when we had him in for Tales of an Urban Indian, which he was incredible in. And I can't wait to speak to him
That's
in
gonna
2
be a fun
weeks.
show.
2 weeks.
I'm looking
Great show.
forward to it.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy. So thank you, Town of Collingwood. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Tyler, and our guests, Chris Tsujiuchi and Peter Madore.
Thanks, Erica.
Great. See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.